Robert Whittaker versus Jared Cannonier takes place this weekend in the co-main event of UFC 254, Khabib versus Gaethje, and I can't wait for this matchup. We have a title elimination bout right now in the middleweight division, and it's an amazing one as well. You've got the former champion, Robert the Reaper Whittaker, coming off a big win against Darren Till after his recent loss to Israel Adesanya. He's removed the sour taste from everyone's mouth, including his, I'm sure, as well, with a big win against Darren Till. Some people scored it 3-2, others scored it 4-1. Both could be correct. I'll be honest with you, it was a very clear win for Robert Whittaker, a very competitive fight with Darren Till, but then again, Darren Till is the guy who went out there and beat Kelvin Gastelum, who had a tough fight with Adesanya, so Whittaker gets a ton of credit there for beating Darren Till and doing it in a very clear fashion, getting his hand raised. Now he's taking on the up-and-comer Jared Cannonier. I say up-and-comer, and usually you associate that with young. And I didn't say the word young there because this man is about 36 years of age. He has taken his jolly old time to get himself towards a title shot. But hey, timing is a great thing, and sometimes it can work out for fighters. Look what happened to Jorge Masvidal so late in his career. Reinvented himself. Also, as well, for Jared Cannonier's benefit, the higher weight class you go, the less the kind of age starts to come into things because you require less reaction time and speed, and you can still get by with power and technique and experience, and that's exactly what Jared Cannonier has. Been in the UFC for a while, started his career at heavyweight, then moved down to light heavyweight. Now he's down at middleweight and he's on a 3-fight win streak. Seems to have really made a home for himself here in the middleweight division. The killer gorilla indeed. He went out there and beat Jack Hermansson in Copenhagen, silenced an entire crowd. I believe he beat Anderson Silva in Brazil as well, which he did. Silenced an entire crowd. Wow, now that I'm thinking about it, Jared Cannonier has been behind enemy lines for a very long time. So I think he's going to be very happy that there won't be a violent, hostile crowd in UFC Fight Island to go and attack him if he does get a big win against Robert Whittaker here. It's not like he's going to Australia to fight Whittaker, which is a benefit for him, I guess. I don't want him to have flashbacks from the Brazil crowd. The Brazil crowd basically booed Jared Cannonier because he didn't let Anderson Silva beat him. Weird, but that's the Brazil crowd. Anyway, Jared Cannonier, very dangerous contender. He's actually the favourite in this matchup against former champion Robert Whittaker. The winner of this fight is definitely going to get a title shot against Israel Adesanya. I feel as though the promotion of this fight, though, seems to be sort of edging in the direction of Jared Cannonier, which I understand because Israel Adesanya even said in his post-fight speech against Paulo Costa, I've DM'd Jared Cannonier to say if you go out there and beat Whittaker, I will give you the title shot against me, which I understand why they're sort of leading towards Jared Cannonier because he's a fresh matchup. He's marketable. We haven't seen the matchup between him and Adesanya yet. We've seen Whittaker lose to Adesanya. It's kind of hard to sell that fight twice, but still, if Whittaker wins, he will get a title shot, but I know for a fact that the UFC and Israel Adesanya are praying that Jared Cannonier gets it done because you don't want two of the same name on your resume. You want a lot of different names against a lot of different fighters and styles, and Jared Cannonier is a very dangerous matchup in that middleweight division, of course, coming off a big win against Jack Hermansson. Great win. It wasn't a dominant win. It was a big finish, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people don't check the fight before the finish, which is what I like to do. It was a very competitive fight. I mean, Jack Hermansson got him down, took his back, had him in some tough positions. Jared Cannonier showed a great amount of strength on the ground and a great ground awareness game because a guy like Jack Hermansson gets you on the ground. It's a lot of problems, but Jared Cannonier weathered the storm. He had his back taken, he stayed calm, he fought the hands 2-on-1, got himself out of danger, back to the feet where he does his work, eased out the first round a little bit, then in round 2 he started to find his timing a little bit more. Jack Hermansson started to get a little bit more desperate with the takedowns because they weren't really working for him, and then Jared Cannonier just planted that uppercut on his chin. There's no denying this man's power, and it's a worry in this matchup for Robert Whittaker. But I think as far as strictly striking goes, I don't think I've seen Jared Cannonier outstrike someone to tell me enough that he's going to go out there and outstrike Robert Whittaker, because as much as I like Jack Hermansson, that's Jack Hermansson on the feet. Jack Hermansson's game plan is to ragdoll you to the ground, and if we don't end up there, I'm going to try my best, but we'll see what happens. That's Jack Hermansson's game plan. Anderson Silva's game plan right now, although a striker, and that's his A game, Anderson Silva's game plan right now is I'm going to get my show money, and I'm going to go home, and it's normal. And then, you've got other guys, David Branch, game plan, get this guy to the ground or panic and shit myself, and Cannonier catches him on the chin. Great job there as well. Cannonier's got phenomenal takedown defense. Amazing takedown defense, but I haven't seen him go up against a level of striker that's still relevant in the game yet. That tells me he's going to beat a level of striker in Robert Whittaker. I mean, we can check their past few wins and just see where these guys are at right now. You've got Jared Cannonier, Jack Hermansson, great win. Anderson Silva, not so much of a great win. I don't even think he was ranked at the time of Jared Cannonier beating him. David Branch, you know? Dominic Reyes, a loss by KO. No shame there, but Dominic Reyes just lost to Jan Blachowicz. But Jan Blachowicz also, in Cannonier's last 5 fights, beat him. So I don't really know what to tell from that. But those are 2 big light heavyweights. No shame in Jared Cannonier losing to them. He really has found a home for himself in this middleweight division. He's actually shorter than Whittaker as well. I think he should have been a middleweight all along. And I'm sure he agrees with it as well now that he's here. But then you look at those names that I just read out to you. And then you look at Robert Whittaker's recent names. Darren Till coming off a win against Kelvin Gastelum, top 5 guy at the time in the middleweight division. Beats him unanimously after a long time off. Gets in there after the Adesanya fight. It wasn't actually too long of a time off, but he got KO'd. He took some time. He bounced back against Whittaker in August. Got the job done. Before that loss to Adesanya. Fair play, it's Israel Adesanya. He seems to be doing that to a lot of people recently. Win Romero. Beats Romero. Beats him again. I know the second time was a draw. We can all agree on that. But still, that's Yoel Romero, not David Branch. You know what I'm saying, guys? Bit of a difference in opponents that we've seen recently. Jacare Souza completely annihilated him. And by the way, Whittaker has not been active. So this Jacare Souza 5 fights ago is not Yusuf Zalal's 5 fights ago. Let's just say that, okay? Whittaker's 5 fights ago might as well be 5 years ago. That's when Jacare was in his prime, maybe. Like, Jacare was fighting Robert Whittaker to earn his title shot. That's how long ago this was in the middleweight division. And Whittaker went out there and destroyed him in the second round. Got hit with some punches, don't get me wrong. But I haven't seen Jared Cannonier take on anyone that I consider adept enough on the feet that doesn't want to lose, like Anderson Silva. To tell me that he's going to go out there and beat Robert Whittaker. He's a very dangerous man. He really is. He's got good stand-up. He stands with a very wide base. When Whittaker sees that on opponents, he's going to be oblique kicking away that knee and completely trying to destroy that knee in the first round. I have also seen in interviews, Jared Cannonier said he hates that technique. That's, in his opinion, the worst technique ever to use. He would never use that himself. And Whittaker, that seems to be one of his favourite techniques. He loves that oblique kick. And for a guy who stands with such a firm stance and such a wide stance, that's going to come into effect massively. Especially because Jared Cannonier likes to move forward. He likes to be the aggressor, or sometimes he'll move around the outside. But when he's really looking for the big punch, he'll start edging his way forward, trying to creep his way forward. And I think Whittaker's just going to click at that leg every single time. And it's going to have Jared Cannonier second guessing himself, doesn't want to tear his ACL. Jared Cannonier also said it would annoy him if Whittaker did that to him as well. I'm just going to look at that. Whittaker can use that technique massively here. He's going to dance around the outside, get under the punches of Cannonier. He's got dangerous abilities, but I don't think he's ever fought someone with the movement of Whittaker in front of him. Anderson Silva stands there and does this and accepts whatever you throw at him because he wants to lose. David Branch, I don't even know what David Branch does. David Branch is David Branch. He's always been good, but he's kind of never been good. You know what I mean? Like, he beat Thiago Santos, fair play, but other than that, what we got? You know what I mean? But David Branch, good win over David Branch. He looked really good against David Branch. I'm not going to deny that. And at the time as well, he was expected to lose to David Branch, as Dana White told him after that fight. If you remember the thrill and the agony after his win against David Branch at UFC 230, Dana White basically came up to him and said, hey, I don't know why you took that matchup. We thought you were going to lose, definitely, and you came out there and looked really good against a really good grappler. So good job, Jared Cannonier. I just don't think he's fought a guy who's going to do the things that Whittaker's going to do to him on the feet, okay? I don't think he's fought that level of striker yet. I'm not going to pick him, and I don't mind this, but give Whittaker the respect of a favourite here, no? This ain't Whittaker coming off a KO loss to Israel Adesanya. This isn't Whittaker coming off a long layoff. We can talk about that as well, because Jared Cannonier is the one who's going to be rusty, if anything. Like, Whittaker's got some steam behind him again. I want to say this is the quickest turnaround of Whittaker's career ever. Definitely at 185. I don't know about 170. Maybe he turned around quite quickly after The Ultimate Fighter, which we're also going to talk about in this video as well. But Robert Whittaker, this might be his quickest turnaround I've seen in a very long time. Like, this is a real committed Whittaker that wants to get right back in there, keep momentum going, and not have to shake off any cobwebs in the first round, because that's where he seems to be having some trouble. Got caught in the first round against Darren Till, caught in the first round at the end of the first round against Israel Adesanya. Looked a bit antsy in both of those fights, but now that he's being a bit more active, fought Adesanya, took, 9 months off, then took on Darren Till. Now he's turning around 3 months later. I like it, man. It was actually in July, not August. I like it. Whittaker didn't take any damage in that fight. And you look at that compared to Jared Cannonier. I mean, hasn't fought since 2019 September. That's not really a good sign. That's a year and a month off. I don't like that. And then when I say a year and a month off, if I saw a 22-year-old take a year and a month off of the game, and he wasn't injured or anything, but he just took a year off, I think to myself, this guy's going to be a monster when he comes back. When I see 36-year-old Jared Cannonier take a year and a month out of the game, that's not a good year and a month to lose. You know, when you're at that age, and I'm very sure and very aware that Jared Cannonier has a six-pack, I understand, okay? So you're going to tell me he's not past his prime, but things start to slow down, and although the body might not change, the reaction time does, okay? What you can take in sparring does change. Those extra few punches on the chin do tally up as you get a bit older in your career, and I don't think that's good time off for Jared Cannonier to take, and I mentioned earlier in this little segment of rambling about time off, that if a 22-year-old took time off without any injuries, I'd be okay with it. This isn't time off without injuries. This is time off because of many. He had an injury immediately. Then he tried to turn back around and be the short notice replacement for 248, I believe. Got injured there with a pectoral surgery, which was really bad. And that's very bad to have at an old age, to have a pectoral injury. Similar to Adesanya's, funnily enough. I'm joking. That's clearly something else. But still, Jared Cannonier, pectoral surgery, has to get that fixed up again. I just don't like that that's been his time off. His time off has not been evolving his game. It's been recovering from things and trying to get back to 100%. I don't like that coming into a fight against Robert Whittaker. I feel like Whittaker's going to get the job done. Really looking forward to this one, though. I understand at any moment Cannonier could catch him with a big punch. But I feel like with Whittaker sometimes, we saw this in the Romero fights, you've kind of got to wait until he shows you some openings. And I think in a free rounder, it's going to benefit Whittaker even more because he doesn't have to stay switched on as much anymore. And he doesn't really have to reserve himself. Like in the Whittaker-Romero bout, you could see that Whittaker was very cautious, didn't want to leave himself open. And then towards the end of the third round and then in the fifth round as well, he started getting a little bit more comfortable. And I don't think he's ever going to enter that stage. Watching him go against Darren Till and stay laser focused for 5 rounds after getting clipped with that elbow in the first, I like it, man. I like his new style. I think he looks pretty good, and I think he'll do very well prodding at Jared Cannonier, stomping out that knee. He destroyed Till's knee with his oblique kicks. I don't know how he didn't destroy Romero's, because Romero destroyed his in the first fight, so Whittaker came back with vengeance. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a really good one. Also, Fight Island seems to change the way a lot of fighters fight, okay? And Whittaker, to me, I might be, taking a shot in the dark here. Whittaker doesn't seem like, Elder Scrolls Online playing Whittaker, doesn't seem like the guy who would really thrive off of an arena filled with 100,000 fans. In my opinion. What he has done has won the Ultimate Fighter. Now, I know a lot of people see Tough Smashes as not really one of the Ultimate Fighters. He's an Ultimate Fighter. Like, Whittaker, I feel like, is the most forgotten about Ultimate Fighter winner. Just because it was Tough Smashes and not a real Tough 28 or Tough 23, anything like this. But still, Whittaker's been in the Ultimate Fighter. Not only has he been in the Ultimate Fighter to fight once, he's been through every stage of it, won it, because of how good he is under that environment. When you're in the Ultimate Fighter, the best guy doesn't always win. The guy who can turn around quickly and get back in there and be in good shape and stay in good shape and not take too much damage. And be good under the pressure of a small crowd with not many people there, with hearing people whisper in the corner and make noises over here. You can hear that person's conversation when this is going on. Whittaker has had tremendous experience, the best experience possible for the current circumstances of Fight Island. I think he's going to benefit from that, and I think he's going to actually catch Jared Cannonier in the second round. I went back and forth in my full card prediction video, but I think Whittaker's going to go out there now that he's a bit more momentum behind him, and I think he's going to go out there and catch Jared Cannonier at the end of the first round or in the second round. I think it's going to be a dangerous fight, and maybe Cannonier's going to catch him with a big shot. There's going to be a worrying moment, I'm sure, and I'm sure it'll be back and forth while it lasts. I just think that Whittaker's going to get him, man. I think he's going to give him too many different things to think about, and Cannonier's going to give Whittaker an inside leg kick that he can't really use because Whittaker switches stances and darts in and out, or punches. And Whittaker's going to be throwing oblique kicks to the knee to destroy your ACL completely, shred that out of place, front kicks to the stomach, front kicks up high, head kicks, jabs, hooks, weird movements, side to side. Cannonier just seems a little bit orthodox for me against the first, in my opinion, real credentialed striker he's faced in the middleweight division so far. Don't bring up Anderson Silva, he wants to lose. like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Winner of this fight gets a title shot. I'm going with Whittaker, TKO, round 2. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Goodbye. See you later. Toodle pip.